What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is man Shadicstick dropping some hot Faraga on this mic. I know the title might be a little dramatic, but I needed to get you guys to click on the video. But I genuinely am disappointed with FOAMSTARS, the game I'm talking about today. FOAMSTARS was announced a little while ago in one of Sony's State of Plays, and I was genuinely excited for the game. It looked like Splatoon, and I was a really huge fan of Splatoon 1 and 2, and while I haven't gotten the third game yet, I've been itching to get back into it, and I thought this would have been a great way to get back into, that type of shooter. To be honest, it's probably the most unexplored genre of shooter out there, and it looked like a great deal like Splatoon, so I was excited for it. I liked the aesthetic that was going on in the trailers, and I wanted to see another competitor in the paintball shooter space, I guess. Well, Nintendo is definitely dominating there, and I don't think anything is realistically touching Splatoon. I'd like to see another game kind of take a go at it. But FOAMSTARS ultimately falls flat, and it's not that it's necessarily super bad or it doesn't have anything good about it. It's just there's just some truly horrendous things holding this game back. But before we talk about that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're gonna try to get to 30 likes in this video, especially because your boy is not doing his typical Sonic content. Just share it out with your friends. It would be highly appreciated. But I want to start off with the gameplay first, which is actually genuinely the best part of the game in a lot of regards. It has pretty solid movement, and while the weapons feel solid, I also feel like they have some unique twist on some stuff from Splatoon. And all in all, the concept is kind of cool. The use of foam instead of paint, I guess, lends it a different type of nature in the way they have to spread it about the battlefield. And while I'm not super privy to the team shooters nowadays, I like how it's handled here. Even if a character wasn't good, I can't say I didn't have any type of fun with those characters, if you catch my drift. Really, the biggest issue with the gameplay is its lack of continuity and momentum between its gameplay mechanics. While movement feels good, things just don't connect. For example, you can't really foam walls and surf up them like you can in Splatoon, where you can ink a wall, surf up the wall, and then surf down into the ground, and it's one continuous movement. There's just this lack of flow in the gameplay and the movement that I really wish the game had. This is especially evident in things like the foam slowly reloading. Like they wanted to kind of, take some aspects of Splatoon and implement it in the gameplay, but they just did not do it in the right way. And I know why. It's because of balancing. Some characters in the game are actually genuinely broken right now, while others can't really compete with them because of a lack of speed, etc. And I feel like the characters that lack that speed really needed to be able to, reload as they go. In Splatoon, you reload by going back in the ink, and I feel like by surfing, which is this game's, version of that, the characters with the slower, shots and movement should be able to, reload quicker. And I feel like that would have been an easy way to tackle that issue, but I don't think it was that thought out. Especially because you have to kind of stop to reload. And if the shotgun character comes up and hits you, I don't remember his name, I think it's like Agito or something like that, you're done. There's nothing you can do, especially since he's a character based off of his ability to move around the battlefield. It just makes the gameplay flow stop because of the way the game's mechanics work against each other and don't work with each other, which is really frustrating. The game also commits the cardinal sin of being too chaotic for its own good. You just get lost with all the foam. I think it's a cool idea on paper, but the way Splatoon does it again is so masterful. There was controlled chaos. In FOAMSTARS, like I said before, the way you move vertically is by stacking foam, not spraying more of it up a wall. So because of that, a lot of the times your viewpoint gets blocked off, and character abilities kind of take advantage of this in some ways. You think this would be cool and fun, but it's really annoying because sometimes you lose who you're supposed to be fighting against. And this is especially worse because characters don't change color like they do in Splatoon to indicate which team you're on. They just change the outline. And I realize there are just times when I get lost and I think my enemies are my teammates and vice versa. And I haven't really had any game realistically do that with me. So I think that's a problem really condensed down to this game. On top of that, there's just not many modes that I felt like were worth playing. There's the Superstar mode or whatever, and I really do like that game mode. And I like the moving the duck game mode, but that's really it. Most of the other game modes are just not fun or good, and there's not that many of them. 2 out of the 5 or 6 game modes are fun, which I find pretty comical. And then when you look at the single player content, it's just garbage. I'm gonna keep it real with you. And if we're talking purely from a gameplay standpoint, it's just because there's not a ton of enemy variety. And really, they only created that solo or single player content to really function as a tutorial for each character. And you don't get any real world combat experience in those, story missions. Mostly because they're extremely easy. But if we move on to presentation, I just think that's the most disappointing part of this game. The music is just kind of hit or miss, and even though people make memes about Splatoon music and the voices and stuff, it's still pretty good music. And it has an identity. This game doesn't really have an identity with its music. And on top of that, the sound in general is just not great. The mixing is just not there, and I feel like that's one thing in a shooter you should get right, especially one with voice acting. But if we're talking about voice acting, I'm pretty sure all of the voice acting in this game is AI. And I know before the game launched, they said AI was in the game in some way, shape, or form, mostly related to art, but I feel like it's probably being used for the voice acting too, because the voice acting in this game is actually atrocious. There's nothing human about this. And don't get me wrong, this is just the future we're gonna have to live with. Today is the worst you'll ever see, AI tech be. It's only gonna get better because nobody's stopping the AI bros. Let's be real. So hopefully the people whose voices were used as the, models for the AI got paid at least or compensated decently. But if this is not AI, this is genuinely the worst voice acting I've heard, really, I think, since Akiba's Trip on PS4. Just nothing has been as awful as this. This actually hurts my ears to listen to. Imagine the worst 4Kids dub with the worst pacing in the lines, combined with Beyblade Metal Fusion, but every line is somehow flat but also overacted. It just sounds comically stupid in a way I don't know how to explain. On top of that, the visuals are nothing really to write home about, and because of that, I expected a 120Hz mode, but it's not here. Maybe the physics are tied to the frame rate. I know it is a PS4 game at base, but still, I expect at least the PS5 version to have a 120Hz mode like most other shooters. It's just that overall, everything feels so half-baked. Emotes are boring, and while 2D art of the characters actually looks great, the 3D models just don't look good. I'm sorry to say it, but they just don't. And if we go down into the worst of it, the monetization in this game is genuinely awful. Well, I do think $6 for a battle pass isn't bad, considering, Fortnite's is about $9.50. $45 for a single skin is $45 freaking dollars. This is some of the most egregious monetization I've seen in a modern video game. This game is not even worth $45. Why would you make a single skin worth $45? This game tries to emulate both Splatoon with, all the real-time stuff changing in Fortnite and trying to capitalize on cosmetics and stuff, but it has stuff in this game that's not equal to either one of those. On top of that, when it comes to the monetization, there's no virtual currency. You're using just real-world dollars. So a skin for the board, say for instance, is $4 instead of $400 of a virtual currency. The reason why this is bad is because when you play games like Fortnite, typically you have the battle pass. So when you buy extra currency, you already have currency from the battle pass. Plus you're getting 5 to 10 skins already on top of that, with a ton of other cosmetics. There's just no bang for your buck here when it comes to the cosmetics. It's just goofy. I feel like it's just genuinely insulting to players' intelligence. Why did they think this was okay? Just in conclusion, I don't dislike FOAMSTARS. Don't get me wrong. This video is super, super, super negative. But there's so much here that baffles me, and that is just wrong, that I feel like Square Enix should really go out of their way to fix this game, because I think they do have something on their hands here. If they polished up how reloads work, maybe you're able to reload while you're surfing, change some of these garbage monetization practices, add things like a 120Hz mode and some good music with some more, actual traditional game modes, and I think you have something on your hands. And on the subject of the AI stuff, the finals is using AI, and while in that game it's a lot less egregious, it's just the voice acting that's happening during the matches and stuff. I still feel like they should have gotten, real people, considering that the AI voices don't really say much that's different match to match. There's just something here that just feels wrong in this game, and that's what I'm really worried about. This is just another live service game that feels like it's banking off of so many other games' success instead of having its own unique identity, and I think it really needs its own unique identity, especially for a game that costs some money and it's not free to play. While you can redeem it on PlayStation Plus for PS4 and PS5, it's not truly a free game. But I don't know, tell me how you feel in that comment section down below. Have you played FOAMSTARS? Are you looking forward to playing it? Or does it look like garbage to you? Tell me in that comment section down below. But this is being man Shadicstick. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Remember, Hot Frogger turns to Code Blizzaga. Chill out with some of my other videos. And also, follow me on the Elon Musk app at MobShadic100. We're out of here. Peace, and have a good one.